Like I said, you're able to speak to a fig tree and it's able to move. You're able to speak to the water. You're able to speak to the air. You understand? In the air, God created the air. You understand? He created the water. He created the land. So in all of that, when you're speaking in faith, you're able to move in those operations. You're able to operate in those things by faith. See, if you're not operating in that, if your faith ain't like that, and you're a believer of God, you got to get your faith to that place. You got to get that faith in that place where you say that you want to, Lord, show me how to operate like your word said. Show me how to operate. You got to ask God to show you how to operate by faith and not by sight. You don't need to do nothing else. God is calling you. See, when he said arise and judge the earth, that means you go back to Genesis. Now you got some things you got to do. You got the fowl of the air. You got the fish of the sea. You got the creepy thing that crawleth on the earth. You got all of that, that God created from the foundation of the world. And you got air, you got land, and you got the seas that God created. So all of it, you got, then you not only got that, but you got like physical trees and stuff like that God planted, So, and other stuff that is now on planet Earth. So you have the ability to, God said in Psalms 82, you arise and you judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations if you do that. By faith. See, it ain't, with men, it's impossible. But with God, all things are possible. So, my thing on this day would be to encourage you to begin to use those sources in your heart that come out your mouth, because what you have in your heart will come out your mouth. You understand? If you got power on the inside of you, you can speak things into existence. You can call those things be not though as they were. You can change a situation by moving and operating in faith. If you move and have your being in faith, then and only then, will you reap a harvest. You will reap a true harvest when you operate in faith. See, faith is the substance again. It's the substance. It's something that people need to know about. People need to know, how do I operate in faith when I left everything and I come to God? How do I increase my faith when all I've known how to do is increase my money? And some folks found out that you got to do 2 or 3 jobs and still not have enough. You understand? How do you increase what you have? How you do that is you give it to God. and let God multiply what you have. Because why? Because he specialized in being fruitful and multiplying and replenishing the earth. See, one thing he didn't give us the ability to do until we touch bases with him is to multiply it. See, we don't really know how to multiply it. The way we multiply it is give it to God. See, it would only be what it is if it's in our hands. But if we put it in God's hands, then he will begin to multiply it. And it will begin to do stuff that we never thought would ever come to pass. If you have faith as a mustard seed, you can say to that mountain, be thou removed and cast into the sea, and it will begin to do it. Like I said, there's a lot of actual mountains that people can see. Some people have told you it's a money mountain. Oh, there's a money mountain. You ain't never seen no particular money mountain. That ain't, God didn't say a money mountain. He said like a physical mountain that's on the earth. You have power to speak like that to that, and it'll listen. It'll listen to what you saying. You understand? That's the type of faith that God is telling you that you have. We have this faith right here. We have to have this faith. This is what God gonna come back for. He want to see, do you have this faith? Do you have faith? Or do you want God to come to you and say, oh, you? He ain't gonna say ye this time. He gonna say, you a little faith. Do you want God to say you had little faith? Or do you want God to increase your faith? Because he that come to God must believe that God is a rewarder. So you got to believe that God is going to reward you when you come. See, if you come and you don't believe that he gonna bless you, then you ain't gonna get a harvest, because you ain't expecting him to bless you. I mean, if you go to God, you got to believe that he gonna reward you. You understand? And that he gonna lift something off of you. He gonna rebuke the devourer for your name's sake. You understand? If you do these things by faith, then your offspring and many that are far off will experience blessings. And some of us, we never really experience the come up in that way. We never understood that. We never really got that. We really never understood how to come up in that way. Like, what you mean? I got faith. I don't really have the definition of faith, but the definition of faith is right in the scriptures. What is faith? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When a man and a woman create a child, they don't see that child into existence. They just, they might talk it over and say, I'm thinking about, with another significant other, which would be, if you're a male, it's a female, male. So you would speak to her and you would say, I want this child. And then all of a sudden, what happened? You don't see it in existence. But after 9 months or in the process of it, you go to the hospital and they start doing the little things they have to do. And you start seeing what you spoke in existence. You calling things be not though as they were. You say, hey, I want a child. Now, if you just start doing stuff, automatically you just be like, I'm just going to have a child. Then that's another thing. But if you believe in that you having a child, that's a powerful thing, because you operating in faith. You operating in faith, and you saying, I'm believing God that I'm gonna have these I'm gonna have these, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have that. And then he bless you with that by faith. See, people might not see it. See, when a family say they're gonna have, they thinking about having a family, when a man is by himself and he say, and he thinking about with his significant other, he thinks about faith. Faith, he has to say, I'm gonna have a family by faith. And the Lord will begin to put that into action. He will begin to put that in action for you. He will begin to put these things in operation for you. And you have to really understand that in these latter days that we living in, that's what God gonna be looking throughout the earth to see who he can find that have faith in God. You can't in this last day what we gotta understand is the last day is no joking. First of all, by faith. I'm gonna tell you why. Because people thought the last day was a joke and they had a last day. Let me tell you that again. People think the last day was going to be years and years later. Everybody that thought like that, suddenly it came up on them and they had their last day. They wasn't prepared for the last day. They didn't know the hour or the day when they was going to have to, that was their last day. They had it all mapped out. We going to do all of this. We had all the dates in place and they didn't know that they had a last day coming. See, anytime you hear the words of the Lord, you in the last day. You understand? You're in the last days. A person don't believe that the last days is real. You can't tell a person who have a last day. You tell a person like, hey man, the last day, could be this, that, and other. God encouraging us to repent. And the person be like, man, I don't believe in no last day. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's they had their last day. Because God say, in the last day, perilous times should come. So how do you know we in the last day? All these things done happen. Everything that God said through the Son of God was going to take place, it happened. That's how you know it's the last day. Because people, they having their last day. People are having their last day. And that is deep. When you really get into the deepness of it and you really see that you don't even know when your last day is. See, some people go like, I know I got this much time left like that. But many people did not know that hour will come when Jesus will come like a thief in the night. You understand? He said he come like a thief in the night. For your soul. So you don't know when the last day is going to happen. So you want to have faith in that last day. You don't want to get in a position where you don't have faith in the last day, because you caught without faith. And with God, you stand before God in the great white throne judgment day. What that means is when the books of the life is opened up and Jesus Christ of Nazareth flip through and see, oh, you didn't